Welcome back for another book review. Today we are talking about this one. So this is Witch's Wheel of the Year, Rituals for Circles, Solitaries, and Covens by Jason Mankey. Now this is a very large book. This is about the same size as the Temple series by Christopher Penczak. These are massive. This is almost 400 pages and it is definitely full of a lot of information. So it's pretty much what the title says. It goes through the Wheel of the Year. It is going to have a little bit more of a Wiccan slant to it. You're always going to have the goddess of some kind and the god of some kind represented, but and like the rituals are usually set up in a very Wiccan context, especially like the ones with other people. It's always going to kind of follow that same category of like more Wicca based, opposed to kind of more of the modern like witchcraft ones. Though of course the overlap is like real big between those two, but you know, like a lot of the like more modern witches don't always have like a high priest and a high priestess and the circle casting and like a person like who's just in charge of casting the circle and like that's their job the whole time. Not every coven setting is going to have that. And basically throughout this book he talks about each of the Sabbats. He talks a little bit of like the history and modern ways, and talks about kind of where the names came from, which is interesting because not everyone mentions that. And then each of the rituals are different, which is nice, and you can always change it to have all of the people or not have the people, do it on your own. And overall, it's just a really good book for like the Wheel of the Year. I would rate this book a 4 out of 5 star. I know, I'm surprised too. Also, we're gonna have a minor interruption because you've got to see the chaos. This is what I've got right behind the camera, trying to help us so much. She wants to knock it over really, really badly. Huh, you're being oh so helpful. She really loves to knock things over. Her current obsession is my mouse. She likes to try and eat this. But only if I'm in here. When I leave her alone and I do other things, she's fine. But it's just when I'm here, she has to get into everything on the desk. So anyways, back to the point. This is a 4 out of 5 star. I was again surprised. The first few books that I read from Jason Mankey, I did not like. And then this one and the previous one of his, I ended up liking. I don't know why. Just, apparently he got better, changed his writing style, I don't know. But I ended up really loving this one, like I did the previous one. This is a really good resource. Now, is it one I would personally use? No, I do my own thing for the Wheel of the Year that he doesn't really include. But I think it would be a good resource for a lot of people. And again, the way he writes, especially in this one, he has certain points that he mentions that not a lot of authors do that I really appreciate as somebody who also was trying to bring these things to mind, because it's bothered me for years. And he mentioned it in his last book where, you know, the Maiden by the Crone figure thing works for some people, but for others, it's very limiting. I don't really love it. And even in my own practice, I'm contemplating like where like the divine feminine and masculine, where those lines need to be and like why. And like why are there the arbitrary things of like, ah yes, a mother, always, you know, like, and it has to be like you birthed it too. Like, just there's a lot of things that he talks about and calls out, and is like, it doesn't always have to be like a heterosexual situation, because that's not how it works in nature, and the craft should reflect that. I would say the intended audience for this book is definitely someone who is new at the Wheel of the Year, and of course if you're okay with that kind of Wiccan slant to it. Would I buy this one? Personally, no. It is a really good book, but I don't need another book on the Wheel of the Year, because I don't really celebrate the Wheel of the Year in like a traditional sense in any way. Like, I don't have the gods and goddesses changing throughout the seasons. I pick random ones, like, of course, Imbolc is going to be with Bridget, but like for Ostara, for instance, I don't pick Persephone, I pick Idun. And for Samhain, you would think it would be Hel, but no, I don't put her at Samhain, I put her at Mabon. Like, I pick really random things. And so for me, the Wheel of the Year isn't the changing, because like most of the deities are pretty stagnant in their myths. They don't really grow and change, they kind of stay the same. And like they just take on different roles, and for some people they want the Wheel of the Year to reflect their lives, and that's great, but for me I don't. I just feel like we go through the Wheel of the Year on a constant loop in our own lives, because we all go through those seasons. So like I don't need it to reflect like the human lifetime, because also that doesn't happen for everybody. Like, your motherhood might happen very early on, or your fatherhood might happen very late. And like you might have things in different order, and you might not even have that phase entirely. And again, not everyone gets the blessing of getting old. All that said, I think if you're new at the Wheel of the Year, it's a good book to grab, because again, it gives you a lot of information. I feel like it's more when you are a little more advanced is when you start to like question, does it work for you and why? and if you want to change things, and he encourages you to do that. But I feel like it's a really good like starting point for a lot of people. I just don't need that point. So on to some of the notes that I took for this book. There wasn't a whole lot, but there's just a few things that kind of stood out. On page 18, our ancestors generally refer to our genetic, adoptive, or magical families from across the centuries. Now personally, I love this. Thank you for acknowledging that chosen family is a thing, whether it is chosen by you or chosen by your family that has adopted you, or your foster family, whatever. Because genetic biological families, that's great, but that is only a portion of what makes up your personal tribe. And I love when authors include us, who cannot birth our own children. We count. And also I feel like chosen families just don't get mentioned as much. Like, it's ironic because a lot of the witchcraft community, we have a lot of people that aren't necessarily accepted by their family, whether it's because you're a witch or because you belong to another group, such as the LGBTQ community. Like, you get excommunicated from your families, so then you have your chosen families. I'm glad that he mentions that, you know, your chosen family or the like not genetic families are just as important. So then on page 94, he's having a like Yule coven ritual, and one of the steps says, in our, and I'm gonna mispronounce this, in our wassail, something, I know, I'm great at words. I place these dimes as I wish you all a prosperous new year with no many worries. Don't do that, just don't. You can put it around the crock pot, but don't put it in it. Money is so unbelievably gross. It is like it's probably one of the most germiest things we have. Like, money is not cleaned. And also, I don't know what metals they use, but like typically money is just disgusting. Like, it is, don't put that in your drinks ever. Even if it's brand new, it's still gone through a lot of things. Just no, put it around it. It's not in it, because the ritual tells you to put this into your drink. And I read that like 3 times to triple check to be like, did you seriously just tell people to put like coins into the beverage? And then they tell you to drink this. So yeah, don't do that. Just don't. Just you put it around, or use other things that's not money, because again, money is gross. Money is really gross. It has so many diseases, and it's a germ central. Don't put it in drinks that you're gonna drink. So I don't know for this next one what his plan was and why. It only happened on this one because I flipped through the book to double check it. I didn't see it anywhere else except this one, and it literally was never mentioned in the ritual, so I'm like, but why? So page 113, there's the in bulk circle ritual, and then he just has hashtags as like a total section. Like, you'd have like your ingredients and whatever, and then it's like, and then hashtags. Why? And it's like deity, will of the year, community, natural world, angels. And I'm like, what? Like, that was a set the book down, walk away from. I come back to it going, you did not just write that, did you? No, we don't put hashtags in a book. That's really weird. Just no. I don't know why it was included. I am very questioning on the purpose, because it wasn't included in the ritual. Like, there was not like, go make a post on Instagram about it. It's just weird. It's really, really weird. So the Beltane section is one that I usually judge very harshly, because again, as an ace witch, I get really tired of it. And this did such a good job. So on page 188, for the Beltane circle ritual in particular, he has this line that just made my heart so happy. Maypoles are not meant to be penises. And I'm just like, thank you. Thank you for that. Because it is very modern to put such a sexualization onto it. That's not what its intended purpose was. It isn't supposed to represent a dick and then the vagina wrapping around it. That's not what it's about. And it's just more of a fun activity to do. If you want to throw a bunch of sex onto things, you can. But it's not, it's not there for like everybody. And it wasn't initially planned that way. It's a very modern interpretation, and yet every single book jumps on that. And I'm so glad that he called it out and was like, no, stop. So I appreciated that. He had a few different things like that in here, but that was just the one in particular that I was like, thank you. The last thing that I wanted to mention is, again, it's just one of my random things that bugs me. There was no conclusion. I don't know why he didn't write a conclusion. And it's like, just wrap up your book. It's like you made a really good sandwich, but then you didn't put the last piece of bread on the end. so you just gotta eat it kind of awkwardly. Like, you got all the good bits in the middle, and you had a starting piece, but we didn't put the last piece. Just add a conclusion. It's not that hard. Just a page, a couple paragraphs, just a little something to say goodbye. But thankfully he did have resources at the end, and he talks about like why the books are there, and it's a really good like bibliography at the end. But again, why is there no conclusion? It's a random thing. It just bothers me a little bit. It's not like the end of the world, but it does kind of, it just leaves the book like not feeling completed. Like you're still like kind of hanging because you didn't say goodbye. I know it's dumb, but it bothers me. So anyways, those are my thoughts on this book. I would love to know yours in the comments down below. As always, a huge thank you to my patrons. If you want to support me and get access to exclusive content, it is patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I post every single day, and until next time, thank you so much for watching, and blessed be.